Today's episode of the More You Know podcast is brought to you by CrowdQuestion, a brand new social communication platform focused on connecting crowds to bring everyone closer to their community, as well as enhancing any occasion. Rather than being a social media platform focused on content and advertising, they're focused on communication and connection. Learn more about the platform and download the app free at crowdquestion.com.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.
Today I want to read a conversation between the Dalai Lama and Howard C. Cutler regarding humans' fundamental nature, shared in their book The Art of Happiness. The Dalai Lama starts off by stating, "Now, we are made to seek happiness, and it is clear that feelings of love, affection, closeness, and compassion bring happiness. I believe that every one of us has the basis to be happy, to access the warm and compassionate states of mind that bring happiness." The Dalai Lama then asserted, "In fact, it is one of my fundamental beliefs that not only do we inherently possess the potential for compassion, but I believe that the basic or underlying nature of human beings is gentleness." Howard then asked, "What do you base that belief on?" And the Dalai Lama said, "The Buddhist doctrine of Buddha nature provides some grounds for the belief that the fundamental nature of all sentient beings is essentially gentle and not aggressive. But one can adopt this view without having to resort to the Buddhist doctrine of Buddha nature. There are also other grounds on which I base this belief. I think the subject of human affection or compassion isn't just a religious matter. It's an indispensable factor in one's day-to-day life. So, first, if we look at the very pattern of our existence from an early age until our death, we can see the way in which we are fundamentally nurtured by others' affection. It begins at birth. Our very first act after birth is to suck our mother's or someone else's milk. That is an act of affection, of compassion. Without that act, we cannot survive. That's clear. And that action cannot be fulfilled unless there's a mutual feeling of affection. From the child's side, if there's no feeling of affection, no bond towards the person who's giving the milk, then the child may not suck the milk. And without affection on the part of the mother or someone else, then the milk may not come freely. So that's the way of life. That's reality. Then, our physical structure seems to be more suited to feelings of love and compassion. We can see how a calm, affectionate, wholesome state of mind has beneficial effects on our health and physical well-being. Conversely, feelings of frustration, fear, agitation, and anger can be destructive to our health. We can also see that our emotional health is enhanced by feelings of affection. To understand this, we need only to reflect on how we feel when others show us warmth and affection, or observe how our affectionate feelings or attitudes automatically and naturally affect us from within, how they make us feel. These gentler emotions and the positive behaviors that go with them lead to a happier family and community life. So, I think that we can infer that our fundamental human nature is one of gentleness. And if that is the case, then it makes all the more sense to try to live a way of life that is more in accordance with this gentle basic nature of our being. Howard then asked, "If our essential nature is kind and compassionate, I'm just wondering how you can account for all the conflicts and aggressive behaviors that are all around us." The Dalai Lama then replied, "Of course we can't ignore the fact that conflicts and tensions do exist, not only within an individual mind, but also within the family, when we interact with other people, and at the societal level, the national level, and the global level. So looking at this, some people conclude that human nature is basically aggressive, or they may claim, yes, compassion is a part of our mind, but anger is also a part of our mind. They are equally a part of our nature. Both are more or less at the same level. Nonetheless, it is still my firm conviction that human nature is essentially compassionate, gentle. That is the predominant feature of human nature, and aggression may certainly arise, but I think it's on a secondary or more superficial level. In a sense, they arise when we are frustrated in our efforts to achieve love and affection. They are not a part of our most basic underlying nature. Although aggression can occur, I believe that these conflicts aren't necessarily because of human nature, but rather a result of the human intellect, unbalanced human intelligence, misuse of our intelligence, our imaginative faculty. Now, in looking at human evolution, I think compared to some other animals, our physical body may have been very weak, but because of the development of human intelligence, we were able to use many instruments and discover many methods to conquer adverse environmental conditions. As human society and environmental conditions gradually became more complex, this required a greater and greater role of our intelligence and cognitive ability to meet the ever-increasing demands of this complex environment. I believe that our underlying or fundamental nature is gentleness, and intelligence is a later development, and I think that if that human ability, that human intelligence, develops in an unbalanced way, without being properly counterbalanced with compassion, then it can become destructive. It can lead to disaster. But I think it's important to recognize that if human conflicts are created by misuse of human intelligence, we can also utilize our intelligence to find ways and means to overcome these conflicts. When human intelligence and human goodness, or affections, are used together, all human actions become constructive. When we combine a warm heart with knowledge and education, we can learn to respect others' views and others' rights. This becomes the basis of a spirit of reconciliation that can be used to overcome aggression and resolve our conflicts. I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it. Check out other episodes. Leave a review. Follow the podcast on social media at More You Know Pod, and sign up for Crowd Question to ask me questions about the episode. Again, thank you for listening as we propel through podcasting with the more you know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More
You
No
Podcast.